Aho, this is the MOCCASIN Telegraph at the land of the singing Coyote Indian Center in south central Ohio. My name is Tikadabuna Washdewi Chasha, means Prairie Chicken Good Man. I'd like to tell you a good old legend today about the segment that we were doing last week on some of the grain and some of the food, squash, different things. And this is an old legend, story, whatever you want to call it. This boy came to his sister. He was very hungry. He's telling his sister, I haven't ate. I'm very hungry. When are we going to eat, sister? She says, we have no food. My brother, we have no food. And he said, but sister, I'm very, very hungry. The little boy kept saying. There's an old turkey gobbler out there, and he came walking up, and he says, what seems to be trouble with you humans? That's back when the animals could talk just like the humans. And she said, we have no food. And the turkey says, well, I can help you out a little bit. And he shakes from head to toe, and out of his wings and out of the feathers fall corn, beans, squash. He said, now I want you to plant these. And he said, they will grow and will be up in 4 days. Well, the bear came along and he asked what the trouble was as they were picking up the seeds. And the little boy said, we're so hungry. And the bear said, well, I've got some other things that you can eat right now. And he starts shaking out. Acorns fell out, walnuts fell out, different nuts and several different kinds of sumac and things they could eat right there to sustain their food. So they go and they plant the corn. And they plant the squash, and they plant the beans. Well, the next day, the corn's about 2 foot high, the squash is out of the ground, the beans are sprouting. On the 4th day, they have corn, they have beans, they have squash. This is what the turkey had given to them. And they've also had the nuts and everything that the bear had given to them, so they weren't hungry anymore. But the old coyote comes along. He says, what have you got there? And they said, we've got beans, corn, and squash. And the coyote said, he says, that's food, isn't it? And they said, yes, it is. It helps keep us alive. He said, well, I'd like to plant some of it. She said, well, after you plant it, you have to harvest it and then cook it. And the old coyote, he sort of showed his teeth and grinned. He took it out there, and while the boy and the girl was planting their farm, some more seeds and making more gardens, the coyote, he decides he's going to cook his stuff before he plants it. So he sort of grins. He says, I won't have to cook it when I get done with it. I'll cook it first. So he cooks it, then he takes it out and he plants it. Well, he goes off with some of his friends and they're gone for 4 days. And he comes back and there's nothing there. And he said, oh my, nothing grew. Why didn't it grow? So he goes to the boy and girl and he's all upset. He said, well, nothing grew. The seed you give me was bad. The hearts was no good in them. And she asked him how he planted them. She said, well, that's not what the turkey and the bear told us. She said, you've already cooked the heart out of them before you planted them. And a coyote, he grunts and he grumbles and he walks off. Well, that's the way it is today. The coyote does not cook any of his food even to this day. He eats everything raw, and that's the way it still is today, while the humans plant it and then they cook it. Doksha, Washday.